Okay, good evening. It's another wonderful Friday evening, and as usual, it's time for Revelation Hour. God bless you for making time every Friday evening from 7:10 to 8:10 to watch Revelation Hour. God bless you so much. My name is Evangelist Kofi Kakari, and don't forget, this program is made possible by your donations, and we thank you so much. So we are still pleading with you that if you have any amount that you want to send to support this and other programs that we are doing, you can please do so, and God will bless you. And the number that you can send your widow's mite to still remains 055 35 74 933. God bless you so much. And our brothers and sisters who are also watching the program on Trinity TV, we welcome you and we say God bless you so much. I'm here with the man himself, Evangelist, the researcher, Joseph Anani. Evangelist, good evening.
Good evening.
It's another wonderful Friday evening.
Great.
And we've entered the Sabbath hours.
Sure.
So we can greet happy Sabbath. We've started a topic. We did a part 1 last week, and we are continuing with the part 2 this evening. That's on the Mount of Olives, part 2. That's what we are going to discuss this evening. So please make your pens and pencils ready. But do one thing for us. Pick up your phone and then call friends that it's time for Revelation Hour, so they should also join us on Homebase TV or on Trinity TV. Besides that, we are streaming live on Facebook. That's Homebase TV Ghana. So you can go there, like the program, and then share it for us so that other people can also get access to the program so that we share the cake accordingly. So please, God bless you so much. Evangelist, with I think 10 or 11 videos on the Mount of Olives, part 2.
Sure. On the Mount of Olives.
That's right.
Happy Sabbath to our cherished viewers and listeners, both on Homebase TV and on
Trinity
TV. Yes. On the Mount of Olives, part 2. That's what we are doing this evening. And I think the disciples asked a very good question on our behalf. Yes. So I can say for certain that all that the disciple asked Christ Jesus and the answers which came would benefit us much, much better.
Okay.
Much more better than the disciples. Because in Matthew 24, reading from verse 1, 2, and 3, where it says, "And Jesus went out and departed from the temple. And the disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple." That is verse 1.
That's right.
2 says, "And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone, there shall not be left here one stone upon another, that shall not be thrown down." And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Straightforward questions.
More or less like a 3-in-1 question.
Sure. Last week, we dealt with the prophecy concerning the destruction of Jerusalem. Yes. I'm picking from there and then we continue.
Okay.
When they drew the attention of Christ on the temple of Jerusalem, and the response or the answer was, there shall not be left here one stone upon another, that shall not be thrown down. Then came the follow-up question. Tell us when this thing shall happen. Christ gave a series of signs, but we are dealing with the very last one, just before the destruction of Jerusalem, which is Matthew 24:15 and Luke 21:20. In Matthew 24:15, Christ said, "When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet in the holy place," whoso readeth, let him understand. So the last sign before the destruction of Jerusalem was the abomination of desolation appearing in the holy place.
That's right.
I will explain. The abomination of desolation is explained in Luke chapter 21 verse 20 as, "When ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh."
A simple sign.
Very good. Now, the armies surrounding Jerusalem are not in themselves abomination or abominable people per se. No.
Okay.
The abomination lies in the adulterous standards that the Roman soldiers carried along. No, they came with symbols of the sun god and other gods which they worship, believing that when they carry those symbols to the battlefield, their gods represented on those symbols will defend them.
Okay.
And those symbols, because they are related to paganism, it is an abomination in Israel.
That's right, because God forbids that.
Exactly. So it isn't the Roman soldiers surrounding the city that's the abomination. No. But their warfare, the accoutrement that they were bringing as part of the warfare, their shield, the symbols on their warships,
Weapons.
yes, weapons, yes, was a representation of the sun gods in those days. So when Israel should see these things in the holy place, the holy place, we said it here last week, and let me repeat it, because Luke has already given a very good explanation of it. When you shall see army surrounding Jerusalem. So the holy place is not inside the synagogue or the temple, no. The holy place is just some few furlongs or some few meters
To the walls of
to the walls
Jerusalem.
of Jerusalem. That is the holy place. That's why Luke made it clear that when Jerusalem is compassed with armies.
That's right.
Fine. So Christ has said this, and then came the crucifixion, the resurrection, and so on and so forth. He's ascended and is gone. When did that prophecy fulfill? Is the next question.
Okay.
We are told in history, according to one G.J. Goldberg, in his book, A War Chronology, Part 2, the campaign of Sacergalus and the defeat of the 12th Legion, that Jerusalem was besieged by Gallus Cassius from November 17 to 22nd, AD 66.
Okay.
Yes, he came, encompassed the city, and then left about 6 days. That was a sign mentioned by Christ, that when they see that sign, they should flee the city.
That's right.
The sign came. Then the Roman soldiers came back in AD 70 and destroyed the city.
Okay.
That there is no argument about that. So when the disciples went to Christ on the Mount of Olives and then asked for the sign of the destruction of Jerusalem and then the sign of the coming of Christ and the end of the world, the very first sign that comes last before the destruction of Jerusalem has taken place. And that gives me the confidence to believe in the word of God, that on that same day on the Mount of Olives, when Christ gave the prescription of the destruction of Jerusalem, on that same day he gave that of this world too. So we are talking of event A and event B. And if A has happened, then it definitely means that B will follow.
That's right.
Very good.
Inevitably.
Yes. Now, for a reminder of that which Christ has said, let us give out video 1.
Okay, as I said, we have 11 videos that we are going to watch this evening. So production, if you are ready, please, video 1, please roll it for us.
Tonight, a frenzy of violence at one of Jerusalem's holiest sites, threatening to ignite the region. Video showing Israeli riot police storming the Al-Aqsa Mosque, beating people inside with guns and nightsticks. Palestinians responding by shooting fireworks inside the religious compound. Police say they went in after extremists barricaded themselves inside overnight and stockpiled improvised weapons. But Palestinians say they were sleeping in the mosque as part of a Ramadan tradition. They attacked us inside there. All the young people inside are suffering, she says. Around 400 arrested and dozens injured, according to Palestinians, and Israeli troops on high alert.
This is the Lions Gate. It's one of the main entrances to the Al-Aqsa complex, and you can see heavily armed Israeli security forces control the way in and out.
The violence, a grim start to Passover, the major Jewish holiday which will last for the next 8 days, with fears of more to come in the final weeks of Ramadan, the holy month for Muslims. Some of those concerns realized just hours after the raid in Jerusalem. Rockets fired by Palestinian militants from Gaza. Israel responding with airstrikes against the militant group Hamas. Al-Aqsa is the third holiest site in Islam, but sacred also to Jews who call it the Temple Mount. It's the most sensitive spot in Jerusalem and a historic flashpoint.
Okay, welcome. We've watched the first video, so let's go to Evangelist for the explanation.
Very good. Christ said in the prediction that the Jews shall fall by the edge of the sword. Luke 21:24.
That's right.
And shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles shall be fulfilled. That's Luke 21:24. The video we just watched has been, and it is still, the bone of contention. It's a flashpoint between the Jews and then the Palestinians. They were fighting at the Temple Mount. Yes, that is the very site where the Jews had their temple.
Okay.
Yes, and now we can see the trouble that is coming
That's
from
right.
there. When you watch the video carefully, you will see that the Temple Mount, you have the Palestinians camping themselves inside the mosque.
That's right.
Yes. And what are they doing? They claim they are sleeping there with ammunition by their side.
That's right.
The Jews also said they are protecting the compound. Yes. That was the site where the temple of the Jews was in Jerusalem.
The one that they pointed to Jesus
Very
Christ.
good. That one has been destroyed by the Romans in AD 70. And this giant edifice has been erected there by the Muslims. Okay. Time after time, there have been quarrels back and forth on that. And Christ says that Jerusalem shall be trodden down underfoot until the times of the Gentiles shall be fulfilled. So this quarrel that has been going on for ages will still continue.
Till the second coming of Christ.
Yes, because it has to end at the time of the Gentiles. My next question is, what was the sin of Jerusalem as a nation and people? Because Christ just couldn't say that the temple should be destroyed. For what purpose? What have they done? In Matthew 23, 37, 29, and then 27, verse 22, 25 to 26. In Matthew 23, verse 37, when it says, O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, thou that killest the prophets and stonest them which are sent unto thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, even as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings, and ye will not? Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. And then he added, for I say unto you, ye shall not see me henceforth, till ye shall say, blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord.
Okay.
So Christ has given the duration. Jerusalem shall not be able to remain on her feet until they proclaim, blessed is he that comes in the name of the Lord.
That's the glory appearance of Jesus Christ.
And why so? Because they have rejected Christ. So the sin of Jerusalem was the rejection of Christ. They rejected grace. In Matthew 27, 22, verse 25 and 26, Pilate said unto them, that's the Jews, what shall I do then with Jesus which is called Christ? They all, that is the word there, they all say unto him, let him be crucified. Then answered all the people and said, his blood be on us and our children. This is the curse. Then released he Barnabas unto them. And when he has scourged Jesus, he delivered him to be crucified. So the Jews hated Christ to the extent that they would rather want a thief.
That's right. An arm robber.
Yes. They would rather want a thief
than Jesus
freed.
Christ.
Yes, than Christ freed. For Christ to be freed, better free the thief man. Yes. So that was how the Jews rejected Christ. And the Gentile world will also do the same thing. That's how it is. That's why Christ said, until the times of the Gentiles shall be fulfilled.
Okay.
By the time the time of the Gentiles shall be fulfilled, they have also committed the same sins like the
By
Jews.
rejecting Jesus
Exactly.
Christ as their personal savior.
Exactly so. So Christ gave us signs towards the end of the times of the Gentiles. In Luke 21, verse 25-27, which we read last week, and we are repeating it, that there shall be signs in the sun, in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. When the signs begin to unroll, it says men's hearts failing them for fear and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. This is what Christ has said. So the last sign to end the period of the Gentiles begins with the fulfillment of the events in Matthew 25. Matthew chapter 21, verse 25-27.
That's right.
Yes. So let us begin to play out the next two videos. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So until the time of the Gentiles.
Yes.
So what will precede that? Production, please, videos 2 and 3, if you are ready, please roll them for us. 2 and 3.
Well, the World Meteorological Organization says 2023 will be the hottest year on record, with global warming reaching 1.4 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. The report will increase the urgency world leaders face in fighting climate change as they gather in Dubai for COP28. John Kennedy is expert climate monitoring and data research scientist at the World Meteorological Organization and the author of this climate report.
Well, it's the hottest year, and in the report we also show that it's the hottest decade on record, and it's that long-term change that really concerns us. It's that long-term change that's being driven by greenhouse gases. And since the publication of the IPCC report, sixth assessment report 2 years ago, we've seen continued warming, and that warming is going to increase as long as we're putting carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere.
Can I ask you about the significance of the speed of these changes that we're...
The ocean is rapidly heating up, hitting record-breaking levels. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, better known as NOAA, reported this week that ocean surface temperatures spiked in April and May to the highest levels recorded since the 1950s. This could have dangerous consequences for aquatic life, hurricane activity, and global weather patterns. To better understand what's happening, Amna spoke recently with Kevin Trenberth, a distinguished scholar at the National Center for Atmospheric Research.
Kevin Trenberth, welcome back to the NewsHour, and thanks for joining us. So those temperature increases have a lot of folks very concerned. And charts like this one, this is from a retired math professor named Elliot Jacobson, have gone viral. This one shows mean temperatures from 1982 to 2023 in the North Atlantic Sea. That red line that is way above all the other lines is 2023. Should that increase concern us?
Oh, indeed. And of course, it's not just the North Atlantic. It's all around the world at the moment.
And tell us why. Why are we seeing those increases, and what should we understand about them?
We've written reports every year for a number of years now, and the oceans as a whole, for the top 2 kilometers of the ocean, are the warmest on record. 2022 is the warmest year on record. 2021 was the warmest year before that. 2020 was the warmest year before that. So global warming is clearly happening.
Okay, we've watched the video, so please let's go to Evangelist for him to explain them for us. The sun will give us signs.
Now, why are the top experts, the scientists, telling us that they have established an increasing trend of global warming, as explained in the videos?
That's right.
And the sun is being held as a culprit, causing global warming together with human activities. Yes. When Christ said that there shall be signs in the sun, in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring.
That's right.
That's exactly what the scientists are saying now. We are at the tipping point. And when these signs begin to fall in their proper order, the world, in their efforts to arrest the situation, curb it, to suit them, would eventually be transgressing the commandments of God. And it will end up rejecting Christ.
That's right.
Which will equal what the Jews did. Then shall the end come. Yes. So the two videos, we are just explaining to our viewers that indeed there are changes in the Earth's atmosphere, which they call
the ecosystem.
Yes, which they call climate change. The next video.
Okay.
Yes.
If you've just joined us, what we are discussing this evening is the wrath of the wine of her fornication.
No, this is on the Mount of Olives.
Sorry.
Part 2.
On the Mount of Olives,
Yes.
part 2, that's what we are discussing this evening. So if you've just joined us, please follow the trend. Production, please, video 4, if you are ready. Roll it for us, video 4.
Well, in Climate Watch, scientists say they can now distinguish between human-induced weather patterns from naturally occurring events. And according to the study published by the scientific journal Nature Climate Change, scientists can now detect the fingerprint of externally driven climate change, and they're able to conclude that the Earth as a whole is warming. Joining me now, CBS News meteorologist, climate change expert Jeff Berardelli, and Washington Post climate reporter Andrew Friedman. I want to start with you, Andrew, to break this down for us. How were scientists able to really make this distinction between natural and human-induced weather?
Well, they basically looked for expected patterns related to climate change in the sort of spatial patterns of temperature and moisture around the world. They kind of looked at what they would expect to see from physical theory of how climate change would play out. For example, certain temperature variability and increased moisture content in different areas, because when it gets warmer on the oceans and when the air gets warmer, you carry more water vapor. So they looked at these spatial patterns. They used some relatively complicated statistical techniques and machine learning, but what they were really able to do, and they were actually inspired by a tweet from President Trump, which was incorrectly talking about one day's weather in a particular location compared to global warming. He was arguing that it being cold in New York invalidates climate change, which is not true. The scientists ended up finding something that they were very surprised by, which was that they can identify the climate change signal in any day's weather globally.
Jeff, when you step back for a second, you look at this, why is this data so significant?
This is very significant. And by the way, I'm glad to see Andrew, because Andrew's one of the best writers on climate change in the world. So, Andrew, glad to have you along.
Thank you.
You're welcome, of course. So why is this significant? Well, you know, we were able to detect a climate change signal over the course of a long term. So decades, certainly centuries. But now we can actually detect it on a daily basis. So that means climate change is affecting our weather every single day. That pattern started to emerge around the year 2000, and around the year 2012 is when we've locked it in, meaning that every single day we can extract what is the human-forced climate change signal and the natural signal. Now, when I say human-forced climate change, they didn't actually deduct that it was human-forced climate change. It was some type of external forcing. But because we don't know of any other external forcing, it's got to be human force, whether it be a combination of land use changes or global carbon dioxide increases. There's some external forcing. So now we can actually extract what's natural, the natural variability, and what is not natural, what is forced by humans. And that's happening every single day. And that's the first time that we've been able to detect that in science.
Welcome back, Evangelist. Another video.
It's very interesting. Interesting in the sense that the gentleman made assertion that the trend of global warming, which they are studying, has revealed that there are human-induced, or there is what they call the human-induced climate change. Fine. And then there are external forces or natural forces. And according to him, their conclusion is that since they don't know where the external forces are coming from, they don't know what is behind that external forces, they blame all squarely on human activities.
Oh.
That's what they are saying in the video.
They don't know where it's coming from.
They don't know.
Okay.
You know,
we can tell them that it's coming from God.
Yes. Science has always dealt with figures and data which they can process. See? So they are saying that beyond human-induced climate change, there are some external forces which they don't know where it is coming from. And once they don't believe in, the abstract, yes, when they don't believe in the spiritual things, then better they attribute it to human beings. So climate change is caused by humans.
I don't blame them. They are not theologians.
These are scientists. Okay. So once they have done this, then they will bring laws to regulate the activities of human beings to slow down climate change. So the laws they were going to bring was also is also being directed to control nature. And when they get to that boundary, then they are stepping in the realm of the God that created nature.
By transgressing his
Very
law.
good. There are laws that controls nature. So immediately, in as much as they wanted to control those laws to suit our stay on this planet, then they get into conflict with the God of nature. That is the process they are leading us to.
Okay.
And that's what has been happening in all these United Nations climate change conference back and forth. We have come all the way from COP1 to 28. It's all based on climate change, nothing more than climate change. When they got to the first COP, I think in Berlin 1995, it was the same thing, that the climate is changing. When they go to Rio de Janeiro, the climate is changing. Kyoto Protocol, the climate is changing. Until they got the Paris Agreement, climate is changing.
Until date, they've not been able to find solutions to it.
They will never. So let's pick from what is going on now at COP28 in Dubai. Yes, the next video.
If you care to know, COP28 is going on as we speak at Dubai. So please, video 5 production, if you are ready, let's see what is going on over there.
Distinguished delegates, I would like to invite you to turn to sub-item 2A of the provisional agenda for the session, entitled Election of the President of the Conference of the Parties at its 28th session. In accordance with Rule 22, Paragraph 1 of the Draft Rules of Procedure being applied, the office of the President of the Conference of the Parties is subject to rotation among the 5 regional groups. We now continue the cycle with the President from the Asia-Pacific states. It gives me great pleasure to propose that the conference elect by acclamation His Excellency Dr. Sultan Ahmed Al Jaber, who will serve as President of the conference at its 28th session. I declare His Excellency Dr. Sultan Ahmed Al Jaber elected President of the 28th session of the Conference of the Parties. I congratulate His Excellency Dr. Sultan Ahmed Al Jaber on his election and wish him every success in guiding the work of the conference. I would now like to invite His Excellency Dr. Sultan Al Jaber to take his seat at the podium. Look forward to working with you. Thank you, Simon, for everything. Thank you. All the best.
Okay, we are back from Dubai. So let's go to Evangelist for him to explain to us what we saw over there. Evangelist.
Yes. This is a simple and a nice handing over the baton from COP27 chair to COP28 chair.
That's right.
And the COP27 chairman, Dr. Shukri,
assuming the office.
Yes, handing over to Dr. El Jaber, the chairman for 28.
Okay.
That's what we've seen. So the gentleman have accepted the gavel to preside over as chairman of COP28, which is ongoing, and it will end on December 12, 2023. That's the date that has been given officially.
That's right.
We hope it will go the same way for them. Now, this institution, per their rules that they are using to combat climate change, has led the world into open transgression of the commandments of God. And you see, the commandments of God from day one have had grace embedded in it.
Okay.
That is why when we sin, that is by transgressing the law, we pray for forgiveness. That is grace. It has always matched.
That's right.
Yes. When Adam sinned, there was blood. Without the shedding of blood, there is no remission of sin. So each time we break the commandments of God, we should also know that grace is behind there to reinstate us.
Okay.
So the moment you reject the commandment of God, you have rejected grace.
That's right, because it moves hand in hand.
Exactly. They are Siamese twins. And I'm saying here and now that the UN COP, which has been going on, per their articles, per their rules, as we stand in 2023, has been designed to lead the whole world in breaking the commandments of God. That I have said it, and I can defend it on the face of the scripture.
That's right.
And then based on their videos and their articles. For that reason, the next two videos.
Okay.
Yes.
That's video 6 and 7.
Exactly.
Production, please. The next two videos, video 5. Sorry, video 7, 6, and 7. Please roll them for us.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, my friends and my partners, we all made a choice to be here at this time. We understand the gravity of the situation, and I know that we all respect the science. Today, we need to follow through. Take that new road, and let's bring everyone on board with us. If we want to accelerate progress across the climate agenda, we must apply a positive can-do vision to get a GST decision with the highest ambition. We must translate the negotiated outcomes into real results in the real world. And we must use the next 2 weeks wisely. Take a no-nonsense approach with no delays. We may be a young nation, but we have big ambitions and hold fast to principles like collaboration, optimism, true partnership, determination, and commitment. These are the ingredients that make up the DNA of the United Arab Emirates. And it's these core values of trust, purpose, partnership, and pragmatism that I believe must define the DNA of COP28. That means it is essential that no issue is left off the table.
Okay, welcome once again. Ivan, did I hear him say nonsense? Use that word.
And he says, take no nonsense approach with no delay.
He means business.
Yes, you have run 27 COPs and you have come to the 28th.
The 27th one was christened Implementation COP.
Yes.
And still, no implementation yet.
Very well. And the world is at a tipping point, quoting the UN Secretary General. It's a burning planet, quoting the UN Secretary General. We have moved from global warming to global boiling, quoting the Secretary General. So take a no-nonsense approach with no delay to arrest the situation. And that's the chair of COP28 speaking. And then it is essential that no issue is left off the table. So this particular COP, per the chairman's acceptance speech, we can see that it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a different COP altogether. Now, we are still on the Mount of Olives because the disciples asked Christ, tell us when this thing shall be. That's the destruction of Jerusalem. And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? That's why I said from the beginning that the question they asked, they asked on our behalf. Those questions were asked on our behalf. The end of the world. Now, the signs we are now seeing was what Christ told the disciples. And when you look at Luke 21 and Luke 25 very carefully, the events that Christ prescribed there is what contemporary scientists are calling as climate change.
That's right.
Exactly.
Signs in the sun.
Yes.
And then the seed rolling.
Very good. That's what they are calling climate change. And then in their efforts to solve the climate crisis, global leaders will unite to reject Christ and his law. So simple like that. Now, having said this, when I mean global leaders, it's going to involve religious leaders. They are championing this cause. There's a press release from Dubai, COP28 UAE press release. World religious leaders come together to mark inauguration of first.
No wonder it was the priest who rejected Jesus Christ. Okay, world religious leaders come together to mark inauguration of first faith pavilion at COP28.
Very good.
Held under the patronage of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, President of the UAE. The inauguration of the first ever faith pavilion at a COP was attended by His Excellency Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan, UAE Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence.
Sure.
His Eminence Cardinal Pietro Parolin, Vatican Secretary of State, representing His Holiness Pope Francis, and other global political figures and religious leaders.
Good.
His Eminence, the Grand Imam of El Azhar, and His Holiness Pope Francis both gave visual remarks to the audience.
Yes.
The Faith Pavilion underscored the COP28 presidency's commitment to
inclusivity. Yes.
Bringing together religious leaders, officials, and scientists, as well as encouraging integrational dialogue with youth and indigenous representatives.
Very good.
Many of the speakers in attendance at the inauguration were also signatories of a joint statement released following the Global Faith Leaders Summit held in Abu Dhabi on 6th and 7th November.
Very good. You can turn to the next.
The first of its kind,
yes,
Faith Pavilion, which is co-hosted by the COP28 presidency, the UAE Ministry of Tolerance and Coexistence,
yes,
the Holy See, the United Nations Environmental Programme, the Muslim Council of Elders, and a coalition of faith partners dedicated to the engagement of faith communities, and will host panels with religious
leaders,
scientists, and political leaders, as well as encourage international dialogue involving youth and indigenous representatives.
Very good.
COP28 President Dr. Sultan El Jabbar said, COP28 President Dr. Sultan El Jabbar said, climate change cares little about our politics, our borders, our differences in religion. Our success depends on our ability to come together as one global community to solve it.
Yes.
And global faith communities play a significant role in instilling awareness of the shared social responsibility of all people worldwide towards environmental protection. Faith communities have come together in a truly historic moment of hope, peace, and optimism, uniting around a shared community to protect our planet.
Very good.
This is very, very deep, and I don't know the first ever Faith Pavilion.
Yes. Having read this, we follow up with another document. This is from the Catholic News Agency. Pope Francis signs the interfaith. Yes.
Pope Francis signs interfaith climate statement as part of COP28 summit in Dubai.
Very good.
Okay, that's December 4th, 2023.
Yes.
The time is also here.
Proceed.
Pope Francis has added his signature to an interfaith statement meant to call attention to what the Holy Father and other advocates say is the ongoing crisis of climate change threatening much of the world.
Very good.
The Holy Father signed the Abu Dhabi Interfaith Statement for COP28 on December 3rd as part of the United Nations Climate Summit in Dubai. The Pope was meant to be present.
It's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Now, I just want to draw attention of our viewers to this statement. He signed it on when? December 3rd.
That's right.
Meanwhile, he had already instructed his deputy, the number 2 in command at the Vatican, Parolin, when all the faith groups signed the press release, which was signed on November 6th according to the document. Yes. When you look at the signees, those who signed, yes, you can see.
Oh, okay. The statement was signed by the following. Okay.
Yes.
His Eminence, Professor Mohammed Al-Dawini,
yes.
Deputy of El Azhar El Sharif.
Very good.
Representing His Eminence, the Grand Imam of El Azhar Hamad El Tayyib. Okay.
Number 2.
Number 2. His Eminence, Cardinal Pietro Parolin.
Very good.
Vatican Secretary of State. Representing His Holiness Pope Francis.
So my question is, if Cardinal Pietro Parolin signed the same document on the 6th and 7th of November and presented it to the COP chairman, and which has been, it has already been adopted into the COP28 proceedings, what again what signing again has Pope Francis got to do with another signing December 3rd? What's the difference between what is signed and that which was signed by Cardinal Pietro Parolin? Yes.
And Pope signed his own on the 3rd.
Yes, or 3rd December.
3 days before.
Yes, 3rd December.
Okay.
That is when the COP was in process. Meanwhile, all the religious bodies, 28 leaders, had gone to sign this one before the meeting began.
Okay.
Understand? But this was when the meeting was in process. He signed
okay.
it.
So he signed the last signature. He penned the last signature.
Meanwhile, his position has been signed already. The same document had been signed by Cardinal Pietro Parolin and had been submitted to COP28 already. And then 3 days into the meeting, he signs another one to it. It shows the seriousness he's attaching to his program. So all of them signed once, but he is signing twice.
Wow.
The same document. Thank you. Now, the rejection of Christ is where we've gotten to now. The next 2 videos.
Okay. Production, please, videos 8 and 9. If you are ready, please, as usual, roll them for us.
We're here as a group representing the major religions of the world, and we're here to support with our prayer. We're here as a group representing the major religions of the world, and we're here to support with our prayers and our thoughts the global leaders meeting for the COP27 conference right at the moment. We know that they need resources that are more than just human to deal with the crisis that's coming. So we've tried to formulate 10 principles, what we've called climate repentance, that is acknowledgement of where we've all as a human race fallen short, and how we've got into this critical situation with our environment.
Empowered by mind, reason, and spiritual understanding, we adopt a
Excellencies, the climate challenge is not just another issue in your inbox. Protecting our climate is the world's greatest test of leadership. And so I urge you to lead. Humanity's fate hangs in the balance. Make this COP count. Make this COP a game changer. Make this COP the renewal hope in the future of humankind. Thank you.
Okay, welcome once again, and I think we all heard from the climate repentance walk, and then the president of the world, that is UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres himself.
Yes.
Evangelist.
Yes, he said we should make this COP a game changer. We welcome it. We shall do so. By his own words. Yes. You remember when Israel were about to leave Egypt. when Moses kept pressing King Pharaoh, the last time Pharaoh spoke to Moses was, "Don't come to me again. If you dare come, you will lose your life." And Moses said, "You have spoken well. I'll see your face no more." And he never saw his face because he was drowned in the Red Sea. So once the gentleman had said we should make this cup a game changer, indeed, the game will indeed be changed. I promise them. So what they have done is simply what Daniel captioned in chapter 2. The vision of the metallic dream, where you have the iron and clay.
Mixed together.
Very good. That is where we have reached now. And let me see whether I can get, yes, a replica of it. In Daniel chapter 2, when you read 44, it says, "And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven establish a kingdom." When the disciples were asking Christ, "Tell us when this thing shall be. What shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?" This is what Christ was pointing to.
Okay.
Yes. Why would the whole world, all religious groups gathered together, ascend Mount Sinai in the name of bringing us commandments? And the commandments, there is the agenda to erect the first day of the week, like that pagan idol was erected in Babylon in those days in the plain of Dura, given to the UN to enforce it to combat climate change. See, once they are projecting the first day of the week to fight climate change, we don't say it is bad. It's a good idea.
Okay.
But they shouldn't do that at the expense of the seventh day Sabbath.
And I don't think they will listen to this advice.
That is the key. So Daniel, in the vision of chapter 2, it says that it's a mixture of iron and clay. You can see all religious bodies coming together and then joining with the states to transgress the commandments of God. So the clay in the issue here is the religious bodies, and then the iron is the world being championed by Rome, because in Daniel 2, the iron component of the dream is pagan Rome, Upper Rome, and the morning Rome, which we call the Holy See. That's where we are now. So the Holy See is giving the world a Sunday rest, which all the religious bodies have accepted. And I said it earlier on, and let me repeat it, that since the gentleman has said that it is a game-changing cup that we have come to, yes, it shall change. When you look at the setup which the UN is playing now, they have introduced a Sunday for resting to combat climate change. All they have done now, they are ready to do that. And the churches have come together, then non-Christian communities have come together, where they call the FBO, the faith-based organizations. All of them have come together.
That's right.
They have approved of resting on Sunday. They are now into negotiating with the states, so all the things will be accepted. So where we have got into in prophecy, as today being the 8th day of December 2023, we had the fulfillment of the iron and clay coming together. That's what we have got into now. Okay. And we are looking forward to them, because from this level, the next thing for them to do is to pass a global resting day, which will be on Sunday.
Sunday, that's right.
And this COPS meeting has, has begun playing the signs, the handwritings on the wall. We can read through the lines that is where they are going. We are waiting for them to reach there, but we are sounding the alarm that if they want to introduce Sunday rest, fine, but they should remember the 7-day Sabbath of the Lord. That's my point.
Okay, Evans, God bless you so much. And I like the way the new president of COP28 addressed the people, saying they will not accept any nonsense. Underline that word.
Yes.
So it means that he really means business.
Take no nonsense approach.
Okay, I think we still have some few minutes. So let's see if you can pick up some 2 or 3 calls. So you can call us and join the conversation. It's live on Homebase TV and Trinity TV. So please call us. Let's hear from you. The number is 0501 484 671. You can call us. 0501 484 671. Let's hear from you if you've understood everything perfectly. Let's see if we have some few messages here. We are getting there gradually. We are going home. Okay, Mrs. Mary Anani. Okay, yes, so their network is not working. Oh, which of the networks? Please let us know. Okay. Let me see. Evangelist, God bless you so much for opening our eyes to the events unfolding. Okay, I am Adade. Okay, Adade, God bless you. Hello, we have our first caller. Good evening, please, your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, I'm Michael Abayate.
Oh, Michael.
Accra, Delta.
Okay, nice having you. Please, we are listening to you.
I want to say that God bless you for this powerful message.
Amen.
And what I also want to say is my colleagues who are in the family churches, it's like they are finding it very difficult to understand these things that we are saying. So I'll pray with them that it is now getting hotter and it's getting more hotter. So they should be more careful. They shouldn't only be depending on what their pastors are telling them. They should be extra more careful.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you too. So a piece of advice to our Sunday church goers.
Yes.
It's getting hotter and hotter. I like that. So you can also call us 0501 484 671 and let's hear from you. Hello.
Hello, Pastor.
Good evening. Please, your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Prince, and I'm calling from the
Okay. Okay, please, we are listening to you.
Yeah. I'm running the program. Yeah, and my one question is, I want to know the Reverend decision and the very interesting and you personal, you are said, I want to attend that particular question. I'm interested in substitute and the Sunday, and where I am, what about the Sunday? In the beginning, Saturday around there, I'm not interested because, you know, I don't, but the things are, the things and everything on television, I keep watching you, and I've gotten what you long. I'm very, very happy. So, in this way, we get to the end.
Hello?
Hello, sir.
Please, we hardly hear you, so I don't know whether the phone is very close to your mouth. If you can distance it a bit.
Let me do. Can you please hear me now?
Okay.
Yeah. What I was saying, I'm very interested about the system that we are doing. Second question is, I don't want to know the location of the set of school Reverend District Anna. But I want to understand your question. And when I interested about the president and the country, where I am, what about the country? I'm not interested.
Okay. Please, we hardly hear you. So what I'll do is, I'll give you Evangelist number for you to call him immediately after the program. But don't forget, he is not a reverend minister. He doesn't bear the name reverend. He is Evangelist Joseph Anani. So I'll give the number out so that you call him. Evangelist, I think you give us your last words.
In addition to that, since he resides in Latbiokoshi, yes, there is SG Church at Latbiokoshi.
That's right.
Yes,
that's right.
I remember somewhere around Bethel Academy, that area. You should visit that premises.
Okay.
Yeah, there is SG. There is one also at Matayiko. So Matayiko Latbiokoshi is not a.
So not necessarily coming to where Evangelist Joseph Anani worship.
He wouldn't even find me.
It will be difficult to find him.
But today is December 8th.
That's right.
COP28 is closing December 12th. If perchance it has turned to 13, fine, because they've had that records before. But I'm saying that everything that the Bible has written down in prophecy has been fulfilled to the very letter. The last one left on record for the world to hear is for them to open their mouth and then legalize a Sunday rest. That's the last thing left on Bible history or Bible prophecy to be done.
Okay.
And we're looking forward for what COP28 will do by the close of the day.
God bless you so much, and we are not saying it from our mind, but rather what the Bible says, and it will never fail. So we live to see, as some people will put it. So God bless you so much for making time to watch the program. God bless you, our brothers and sisters who also watched on Trinity TV. We are very grateful, and we say God bless you so much for making time to watch the program. If you want to call Evangelist, you can call him, and his number is 055 35 74 933. I repeat, 055 35 74 933. You can call Evangelist and ask any question of your choice, and he will answer them. Evangelist, tomorrow you are worshiping with
Sakumono
Seaview SDA Church. Tomorrow morning from 9 o'clock to 5:30 in the evening. Evangelist Joseph Anane and the team is worshiping with Seaview SDA Church, Sakumono. So please, you can also join us over there so that we study together. And from here, don't forget, we are moving straight to Angel TV, and we are coming your way with Bible Anywhere. That one is going to be in Chi from 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock. So you can also join us live on Angel TV. My name is Evangelist Kofi Kakari, and the servant of God that God has been using to bless us every Friday evening, 7:10 to 8:10, is no other person than Evangelist, the researcher, Joseph Anane. Evangelist, Mawunaira, God bless you so much. So same time next week, Revelation Hour will come your way. Don't forget, we shall know the truth, and the truth shall set us free. God bless you.
What's a Franco air conditioner? Yes, should I ye? And the Magana weather. So was Sifie, hotels, hospitals, schools. Now we pay air conditioning, papa, and the Abomu. Ababawa, Abrantie. Now we pay air conditioning, papa. At Snemo, at Chile. A Franco air condition. So we pay the do it to make sure do so. Franco Trading Enterprise. You have 1.5 horsepower, 2.0 horsepower, and a 2.5 horsepower. It is the Upebia. Franco Trading Enterprise. And what Ghana half an